You already know the moment. Your child is struggling with their socks, with the friend who won't listen, with the math problem that will not cooperate, and the help is right there. You have it. It would take 4 seconds. Something stops you. You hold back, and the discomfort is immediate and physical because every signal in your body says a good parent moves toward difficulty, not away from it. Here is what most parenting culture gets wrong about that moment. It frames restraint as passive, as the absence of parenting. What the research shows is the opposite. When a parent holds back at precisely the right moment, they are not doing less. They are doing something neurologically specific, something that leaves a permanent mark on a child's developing brain that no amount of active instruction can replicate. The question is not whether to intervene. The question is what gets built in the space when you don't. Memory is not one thing. Developmental psychologists identify 2 systems running simultaneously: explicit memory, the stories we can retrieve and retell, and implicit memory, the emotional architecture beneath those stories, the blueprint for who a person becomes when no one is watching. That memory is being written right now, not in dramatic moments, in ordinary ones. And it is written most powerfully in the moments you step back. Research on child development keeps returning to this. Staying still is one of the most formative things a parent can do. Here are 10 of those moments. Some will feel immediately familiar. Some will genuinely shift something. And one, the very last one, is the one that stays. 1. The moment right after they are scolded, when you ask a question instead of giving an answer. Research on what happens inside a child's brain immediately after harsh words is unambiguous. The emotional centers activate as if there is physical danger, and the prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and learning, goes significantly offline. The brain is in survival mode. It cannot receive instruction. This is why what you say in the moment of anger almost never lands. The window that matters is 5 to 10 minutes after, when the emotional storm passes and the thinking brain comes back online. In that window, one question changes everything. What do you think you could have done differently? Not an accusation dressed as a question. A real one, asked slowly, with a face that communicates safety rather than judgment. Psychology research shows children who develop the habit of reflecting on problems and generating their own solutions build a durable belief in their own capability and are measurably less likely to give up when difficulty arrives. The implicit memory deposited here when things go wrong, I think first. That reflex, practiced across years, becomes the foundation of independence. 2. The moment they struggle with something physical and you wait before your hands move. A child tries to button a button. The parent sees the struggle. The help is right there. And the parent who immediately steps in, even lovingly, has just taken something that cannot be returned, the experience of completing it themselves. Parenting researchers studying over assistance find a consistent pattern. Children whose parents habitually complete tasks before genuine frustration arrives develop a reliance on external help that extends far beyond the specific task. A 2025 study on parental patience found that when parents practiced deliberate waiting, present but physically still, children showed significantly stronger gains in independence across the following year. The implicit memory deposited in the moment of self-completion. I can do hard things. That belief is the prerequisite for everything that follows. 3. The moment they fail at something and you don't immediately soften the landing. Psychology research on mindset and achievement is consistent. Children praised for fixed qualities, talent, intelligence, natural ability, respond to failure by avoiding future challenge, because challenge now threatens the identity they have been given. Children praised for process, effort, strategy, persistence, respond to failure by increasing effort because failure becomes data rather than verdict. In one landmark experiment, 2 groups of children were given the same task. Those told you must be really smart chose easy problems afterward at a rate of 70%. Those told you must have worked really hard chose the hard problems at a rate of 90%. The implicit memory built through genuine failure genuinely survived. I am someone who comes back from this. That belief cannot be told into existence. It has to be lived. 4. The moment they have a conflict with another child and you watch instead of resolving it. When a parent consistently arbitrates children's conflicts before the children have attempted to resolve them, something specific is lost. Research on theory of mind, the capacity to understand what another person is thinking and feeling, shows it develops most robustly through messy, unmediated peer negotiation. Children raised with high levels of parental intervention in conflict consistently struggle in environments where adults are not present. They have not built the internal architecture for navigating another person's position. When a child is left to manage a conflict themselves, imperfectly, noisily, and they come through the other side, the nervous system records something permanent. I can hold my own position and consider someone else's the same time. That is the root of every relationship skill they will carry into adulthood. 5. The moment you praise the effort instead of the result and you are specific about what you saw. The experiment has been replicated many times. Children praised for intelligence chose easy problems to protect their reputation. Children praised for effort chose hard problems because they believed effort changes outcomes. More striking, the intelligence-praised group showed declining performance over time, while the effort-praised group improved. The mechanism is direct. A child told they are talented learns that talent is what is being evaluated. When failure arrives, the safest move is to stop trying. A child told that their specific effort is what you noticed learns that effort is the variable they control. When you say you practiced every day and it showed instead of you are so smart, you are not choosing nicer words. You are writing a different belief into the nervous system, one that turns failure into a signal to try harder rather than a reason to quit. 6. The moment they are emotionally flooded and you wait for the storm to pass before speaking. When a child is still crying, nothing said registers as intended. The emotional brain is running so hot that the reasoning architecture is functionally offline. Asking why they did something while they are still upset produces either defensive escalation or surface compliance that evaporates immediately. Child care researchers point to the signal, crying, that slows, a body that stops fighting itself. That is the nervous system returning to a state capable of thought. Experts note that when children are given space to reach for their own language, I was upset, I was scared, I did not know what to do, the emotional centers of the brain genuinely calm. Naming a feeling is not just descriptive, it is regulatory. The implicit memory deposited in every moment you wait rather than rush. Feelings have an end. I do not have to be afraid of them. 7. The moment they ask you for the answer, and you ask what they have already tried. This is the fastest to describe and among the hardest to do consistently. A child comes with a problem. You have the answer. Before it arrives, you ask, what have you tried? What happened? What else could you do? This activates metacognition, the capacity to think about one's own thinking. Psychology research on self-efficacy consistently identifies scaffolded reflection as one of its primary sources. When a child articulates what they have tried, they are doing two things simultaneously, organizing their own thinking and discovering that their thinking is worth examining. The child who has been asked this question hundreds of times develops a habit of internal consultation before external request. That reflex, automatic and below the level of conscious decision, is what distinguishes the adult who trusts themselves from the adult who perpetually waits for someone else to know. 8. The moment you address the behavior without attacking who they are. When parents are angry, words shorten and sharpen. And in that shortening, a specific error occurs. Language moves from the behavior to the person. It is wrong to lie becomes you are a liar. Did not clean up becomes you never do anything. This distinction is not semantic. Research on identity formation shows that children treat their parents' characterizations as objective truth. They cannot separate you, said I am lazy, from I am lazy. When that characterization is negative and repeated, the child does not work to disprove it. They incorporate it. Parenting experts are precise. Behavior can be changed. Character, once labeled, calcifies. Stay specific. Stay behavioral. Not you always, but this time. Not you are, but what you did. The implicit memory built in every interaction where the behavior is the problem and not the child. I am not my worst moments. I can change what I do. 9. The moment after the conflict. When you return and make the repair visible. What builds trust is not what happens during the hard moment. It is what happens after. Attachment researchers are consistent. It is not perfect attunement that produces security. It is repair. When a parent loses their temper and then returns calmly, without performance, and says, "I am sorry for being too harsh," the child's nervous system receives a completion signal. The rupture closes. The implicit memory deposited is not that the parent was angry. It is that the relationship survived the anger. There is a secondary effect rarely discussed. Children who watch their parents apologize honestly learn the architecture of repair. They learn that mistakes do not have to end relationships, that the people who love you can get it wrong and come back, that making it right is available to them too. This sense of security becomes the foundation for a child being honest the next time they make a mistake. 10. The moment they succeed at something you are not sure they could do, and you were not ahead of them clearing the path. You had the contingency ready. You knew what you would do if they could not manage it, and they managed it. Not easily, not without the expression on a child's face when something is harder than they expected. But they came through. You were there, not in front of them, behind them. Developmental psychologists call this a mastery experience, succeeding at something genuinely difficult without the outcome being arranged. Research on self-efficacy identifies mastery experiences as the single most powerful source of the belief that effort produces outcome. More powerful than encouragement, more powerful than watching others succeed, more powerful than any amount of external confidence building. What is deposited in this moment is not the memory of being told you can do it. It is the lived record of having done it. That record, accumulated across 1,000 ordinary moments of genuine difficulty, genuinely survived, becomes the person your child will be at 30. The one who, when something hard arrives, reaches first for their own capability. Not because they were told they had it, because they built it. In the moments you stayed back, in the moments that looked like nothing, in the moments that were everything. None of this requires a version of you that does not exist. It does not require perfect patience or the complete absence of anger. Anger is not the problem. What parenting researchers identify as damaging is not the emotion itself, but the unexamined words that come out of it before there is time to think. What is being asked here is smaller and harder simultaneously. The willingness, in certain specific moments, to hold still, to trust that the difficulty in front of your child is not an emergency requiring your intervention, to understand that what gets built in the space where you do not step in is not less than what you could have given. It is the only thing they can carry out of your house completely on their own. The next time you feel the pull to intervene, the almost physical urge to clear the path, wait 6 seconds. Research on anger management identifies this window as the peak of the emotional impulse. It passes. And what you do in the 6 seconds after it passes will show up in who your child becomes a decade from now. Tell me in the comments, what did you hold back from recently? And what did you watch your child figure out on their own? The parent reading your comment at midnight holding the urge to step in needs to know what is possible. Next week, the specific phrases parents say with the best intentions that quietly teach children their feelings are too much. The research on which ones do the most damage is not what most parents expect.